my dear knitting friends. My name is Calypso and I want to take you on the design process of the cardigan I want to design with Manos del Uruguay yarn. Because I have a cold, I cannot really work, so I thought I would just do some ball winding with you. I'm wearing my beautiful Fair jumper. This is a top-down sweater that I've made with woven felted tweed yarns, and it's designed by Marie Wallen. So I'm wearing this. It's really comfortable and warm and light and feels good with my comfortable sweatpants because I'm not in the best health condition right now. But nothing tragic. So I'm sure I'll feel better like in a couple of days, but this allows me to do some winding, and so unfortunately I do not have a ball winding machine, but look at these beautiful colors. So I have winded wine skein already yesterday, so I have a pretty ball here, and I have 6 in total, so 600 gram. And forgive my voice, I hope I don't sound too bad. For now I will try to wind two more, so I have winded half of them and I can start swatching them and explore a little bit how this yarn behaves, how the colors behave in the fabric. And yeah, so I don't have a ball winding machine because I have not bought one yet. I think the ball winding machine I think is not that expensive maybe, but what is more expensive is this, I don't know its name, this wooden thing where you put your skein on and then turns. I find that I want to buy a pretty one because if it's going to take up so much space in my living room, I want one in wood, and I think Knit Pro has one in wood, and I would like to buy one in wood because it's colorful, because I want it to look pretty, because my living room is already full with all my knitting stuff and tools, so I don't have a big stash, so I cannot use like a stash as decoration in my room, in my living room, but I don't want to look too crowded at my place. I don't like to have like too much stuff, and I already have enough stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure. So that's the reason why I may not buy ball winding tools at all. But I figured that, and also I find sometimes that these ball winding machines, they wind the yarn really tight, and I'm afraid that the yarn might lose its elasticity if I wind my skeins and my yarn with that, because I find that the balls are really tight, or the yarn cakes turn out being really tight. But yeah, let me know if you have any experience with that and if you can recommend, or maybe you can also adjust the tension. So I don't know, I have worked at three yarn traps in my life, but only one had this ball winding machine, and I only got to use it I think 2 or 3 times because people were not requesting me to wind their skeins, and most of the yarn we sold was already winded in balls, so it wasn't necessary. And yeah, so how I do it by hand, you can see it. I just sit on this my pillow, and I can put the skein over my knees and just start winding here, first on my 2 fingers, and then I create a ball after that. Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time, but sometimes I find it nice because when I don't feel like knitting anymore in the evening, sometimes I knit I knit every evening almost, and after a while, maybe shortly before going to bed, I can be tired of knitting or my creativity is exhausted. So I think winding yarn is a good thing to cool down, to calm down, to relax. So this is how I do it. It takes a little bit, but it's feasible. yeah, right. So I want to take you on the design process of this cardigan, and I want to. So for now, the idea is to make a lace pattern, and I have already looked into my different knitting books or knitting pattern books, and I've selected a few patterns, so I'll see which one I like most, and I already know more or less where I want to put the lace panels, so everything has to work well together. I think because I have enough skeins, I will try to make a swatch as big as possible, and I can always unravel it later if I don't have enough yarn. But yeah, swatch and gauge measuring is really important, especially when you're designing something because you want, or a garment because you want all the sizes to fit properly. This is a really good arm training, as you can see, and I'm almost finished with the first skein. Yeah, so these colors, or this color here particularly, is not on the market right now. The yarn is called Alegria. It's a beautiful blend of merino and polyamide. It is superwash. I really like the colors, and this is a color for next spring season, so it's not available yet. That's why this is top secret, and you will not see this video until I am completely finished with the design, which is supposed to be published, hopefully, if I manage, next year in March. That would be nice. And right now this is the first week of November, so we'll see how it goes, because I will be traveling a little bit also. We'll be traveling to Barcelona Knits Festival, and maybe also travel in December. We'll see. Because I will have to search for a new job, because my job unfortunately will cease to exist, because the project that I'm on will not exist anymore, so simply my position will not exist anymore either. So that's why I'll have to find a new job, a new occupation. That's nice. I'm always happy about new challenges and new opportunities, but of course that will also take some time, and it means that there will be changes happening, and I love that. If there's something I don't like is to be bored. So and I think most knitters are like that, because as soon as you finish one project you cast on a new one, or many people are also polygamous knitters and have always like poly projects or many projects on their needles. I'm not that. I prefer to have not more than 3 projects. I find 3 projects is already a lot, and I don't usually have 2 projects maybe at a time, to avoid getting bored and just have the right project for the right moment, depending on how much energy you have or how you're feeling, if you have to concentrate, or if you don't want to concentrate, if you want a zero brain project, or depending on the time of the day and your energy level. See you hopefully soon with a swatch and 6 big yarn balls. Hello, so here we are in the process of designing a new cardigan, a new pattern for a cardigan, and I changed on purpose. So it's because I needed to wear a sweater that would be a contrasting color to the swatch that I will show you, because I wanted the swatch to pop up and not be competing with the sweater that I was wearing before. So just to mention briefly, this is a sweater that I came up with myself. There's no pattern for it available yet, but I like it that much, this design, that I think I will make a pattern maybe for next winter. So this is a Gotland yarn from a sheep breeder here in Germany. And this is a really simple design. I knitted from the bottom up in the round until the armholes, and then I increased a few stitches, and then I knitted separately front and back. I did some short rows for the shoulders and did the
3-needle bind off on the outside so that it would have a fake seam on the shoulders. And then I picked up the stitches for the sleeves and knitted the sleeves also in the round. So I really love this yarn. It's a DK yarn, and I like also the pattern. It's kind of simple but elegant at the same time, and I like that it adjusts to your body proportions, so that is really nice. If I happen to have a really generous meal, and then it will just hide under my sweater. And because the sweater, it doesn't really need shaping thanks to the ribbing pattern, which is knit for purl 1. So it's great, it doesn't really need any shaping, and it fits just really well, and it's comfortable. Yeah, and also I can wear it reversibly because it doesn't have any seams, and even where I picked up the stitches, if you do it neatly and nicely, you can wear it reversible. So you can also have the purl stitches as a background and the knit stitches popping up on top, or you can wear it this way around. So this was just a short information about what I'm wearing, and now I want to go back to the topic of this video, which is the design process of the cardigan that I'm designing with yarn from Manos del Uruguay. And Manos del Uruguay generously sponsored this yarn. So I showed you last time that I was winding the yarn, and now I've made a swatch, and I've made a pretty generous swatch. So I think I cast on almost 100 stitches. I hope you can see it well. That camera is focusing. So the colors are really pretty. I like how they are turning out. This is not the typical colors that I would choose. These ones are really like candy-like, and I think the name of the yarn is Lemonade. I don't really often knit with speckles, but I find this is really cute, and for me it's a little bit out of the box, and I like to do things out of the box and not always do the same. So that's great for me. I like the colors. This is a sock weight yarn, and I find that the pattern is turning out really well. So this is I hope the camera is focusing, a lace pattern with some twisted ribbing. The yarn and the pattern work really well together. I've blocked and I washed and blocked this one before measuring again, of course, to calculate the pattern and the stitches well. And I did Nycord edgings on the bottom and also on the side. So this is basically will look like this. And I did a buttonhole here, so I will put small buttons in, and I find this is turning out really quite nice. Yeah, so the thing I did differently this time before designing or when designing is that very often I do the calculation and the gauge and kind of everything at the same time. And that's not the best method to do it, I think. So this time I managed to do it a little bit differently. Of course, I always knitted the swatch first because there's no other way to do it. And I always knit quite generous swatches, and I have enough yarn, so I recommend that you knit the swatches as big as you can in order to have the best idea about how the pattern is going to turn out. And depending on the weight also of the swatch, the measuring can turn out differently. So that's why I recommend making swatches that are not like exactly 10 by 10 centimeters, but maybe twice as big. And then wash and block, and also measure before washing and blocking and after washing and blocking, because in this case this is a superwash yarn, so the gauge might change before and after washing. So that's really important to consider, because you can be knitting with different types of yarns. It does not only happen with superwash, it can also happen with other types of yarns, that you knit your swatch, it's perfect, it matches the gauge, but then you knit your sweater and then you wash it and it just shrinks or grows, depends on the yarn, and you end up having a sweater that doesn't fit, although you you kind of thought you did it all perfectly well. That could be sad. So take this extra step and take the time to do the planning, right? And what I was trying to say in the beginning is that this time I didn't do everything at the same time, but I tried to do it a little bit more methodically. So I have already written part of the pattern. So before I even started casting on, I did the swatch, I calculated everything, and I wrote the pattern down. The first rows of the pattern are already written out on my computer, and only after that I started casting on. So I started casting on this needle, which is a little bit too short, because I want to knit both front parts at the same time. This makes sure that both parts will mirror each other and also will be identical in terms of number of rows. And it also makes it less boring, I find, because I suffer from second sock syndrome. So I don't like too much to knit two things, the same thing twice. So that's why I can recommend to knit both front parts at the same time. Of course, they're not identical because they mirror each other, not like socks. Socks are really identical. I cast it on with the provisional cast on with the contrasting yarn. I cast on the stitches on this needle, which is too short, that I have to change. So this is a 3mm needle. I use Knit Pro interchangeable needles, and I cast on the number of stitches I need for my size for both front parts with the contrasting yarn, because this is a provisional cast on, and next I will take the original yarn and start knitting. So this provisional cast on with the crochet hook I recommend, because at the end you can simply open it and unravel it like a knitting row, and pick up the stitches again and make the I-cord edging. Right, so that's where I am currently, and I think I will insert also a photo of the swatch so that you can appreciate it a little bit better. So I hope this was comprehensive, and I'll see you soon when I have moved a little bit forward in this knitting, because now comes the part, the more enjoyable part, which is the knitting part and letting your thoughts wander about the planets and enjoy knitting. Hi friends! I'm back. The funny thing about these vlogs videos is that I can watch how my hair is growing, so that's interesting to watch for me, and also the different states of mind and health I am, and you can really see, I mean, it's the same for everyone. On some days you are more shiny and more giggly, and on other days you're more a little bit down. So it depends on so many things, and things you cannot also change, such as the weather, for example. So in the meantime, I have spent 3 weeks in Mexico and 1 week in Cuba, so I have progressed a little bit on my design. Not as much as I wished for, but I'm working on it, so, and enjoying it. That's the most important thing. And yeah, maybe I will quickly just mention that the sweater, in case you are curious, this is designed by Susan Crawford from the Vintage Shetland Knitting Project, something like that. The big book written by Susan Crawford. I really like that book. It's a book I just like to read. It's just an enjoyable read, even if you're not going to knit any of the projects of this book. You can really enjoy just reading that knitting book, and of course the designs are really pretty. So this is one colorwork design called Yule I made from that book. I made this sweater already 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, and I wear it a lot, and I made it with woven felted tweed. I did the sleeves on purpose, like a little bit shorter. I like that style when I wear it. Usually I wear an undergarment and the sleeves pop up here of the blouse or something. And also I find it practical to have shorter sleeves for knitting and doing anything I want to do. It's practical, and it's also a little bit shorter. It's just slightly cropped, so it matches well the sleeves and the length of the sweater. Yeah, so that's it. And I just want to show you quickly my progress, because on the previous section I have explained already a lot on the process, on the techniques that I have applied. But yeah, look at this. This is how far I have made it. These are both the two front parts. As you can see, I'm almost made it to the shoulder. I'm knitting both front parts at the same time because I find it more enjoyable to make it like that. Of course, you can do them separately as you wish. And it's a little bit difficult to evaluate their size right now. On the camera, at least, I can evaluate their size, so the size is going well. It should fit my size in the end, but it's rolling in, of course, a lot. So yeah, so that's how it looks at the moment. I have on one side prepared here, as you can see, for the buttonholes. So I have put on hold the 3 stitches of the I-cord, and then knitted 2 or 3 rows in the pattern, and then casted them back on to continue with the I-cord, and I will close this gap in the finishing part of the design, so that I will have a proper buttonhole here. So of course you only do that on one side, because you will place the buttons on the other side. And the pattern is turning out quite really pretty. I like it. Yeah, so I am really satisfied with the yarn. The yarn is a really nice quality. I enjoy working with it. It's not splitting, for example. It's really soft, and the pattern is easy to memorize, so I can knit quickly because the yarn is knitter friendly. And also yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Also, I can say that I usually am not the biggest fan of superwash yarn, but in this case I was really positively surprised that this yarn did not grow. It almost didn't change the swatch after washing. It stayed almost the same. Really, it variated only really slightly. So that's a really good positive thing, that the swatch stayed the same. Of course, I washed it in wool program in my washing machine and cold. So if you wash it with 30 degrees Celsius temperature, maybe that could affect the sizing of the swatch. So be aware of that when you work with superwash yarn. But for now, I'm really satisfied. I can really recommend this yarn. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to almost finishing the front part soon, and working some short rows for the shoulders. And then I will put this on holds. Just save it for later, because I want to do a 3-needle bind off at the shoulders together with the back. So yeah, next I will, as soon as I finish these front parts, which are almost finished, I will carry on with the back. And also the yardage turns out to be really satisfying of the yarn, because I have not weighed it, but I think I have used maybe half of the ball, and I have almost finished the front part. So this is 1 ball per front part for each front part, and see how much I have still left, although I'm almost finished with the front part. So I ordered way too much yarn, or Manos del Uruguay sponsored way too much yarn. I think I will probably make a second accessory or something with the leftovers. And yeah, so you will not, the yarn consumption for this design is not as important as expected, so that's also a plus. Yeah, so I'll keep you updated, and see you in the next section. Hi guys, how are you? We're now in February, and I'm happy to be here to give you a quick update. First, I'd like to talk about what I'm wearing today. So I'm wearing a really pretty blouse with really pretty embroidery here on the side. And this type of blouse is called guayabera. This is a traditional blouse from Mexico. And Also, I'm wearing a vest that I made, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. I don't remember where I got the pattern. I got it from a magazine, but I couldn't find it right now. And the yarn, so this has a hood and a pretty cabled pattern in the back. And I got the yarn when I did my internship at the Natural Fiber Company in England, in Wales. Since then, the owners of the Natural Fiber Company have changed because Sue Blacker, the former owner where I did my internship, unfortunately really sadly passed away. I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago already. And yeah, but I got this yarn from her, and this is a 100% wool, kind of rustic, and also I dyed this yarn myself at the Natural Fiber Company in their spinning mill. Yeah, so it's kind of rustic, it's not super soft, but for this type of vest I find that it's perfect, and also for this type of pattern and for cables. So if you're interested, I still have some left, a good quantity, and if you would like to have some, then you're free to contact me. So these are the two front pieces. I'm knitting them at the same time, so simultaneously. And sorry for the yarn tangling here. So yeah, these are the two front pieces, so they're turning out really nice. This is going to be a little bit longer cardigan with this pretty eyelet pattern. And I have already done the short rows on the shoulders to shape them a little bit better. And yeah, so that's it. I left the stitches on hold for the two front parts, because then I cast it on the back. And I believe I showed you the cast on, the provisional cast on of the back, and now I have knitted, almost finished the whole back. So now I have to do the short rows for the shoulders of the back. But this is the back panel. It has the same really pretty stitch pattern, and yeah, I think it looks really good. And after I finish the short rows, I will work a 3-needle bind off to join the two fronts and the back part, and then I only will have the sleeves left, and I will then pick up the stitches and knit the sleeves bottom down, and I will knit them in stockinette stitch, because I find that this already has enough pattern, and this could become too heavy if I add even more pattern on the sleeves. And also the yarn is so pretty that I want the yarn to be on the front of the stage, and if I knit stockinette stitch, then of course the yarn will be the star of the sleeves. So yeah, this is where I am currently. I'm making this a good size. I wouldn't say that it's oversized for me, but it will hopefully drape in a flattering manner and be, yeah, as soon as I wash it, of course it will not stop rolling in, and after blocking also it will, I'm sure, fall nicely and drape nicely. So yeah, this is where I am right now, and I'm really happy with the result for the moment. I still have some yarn left, and the yardage of this yarn is really advantageous. It's really good, and also it's really soft and fun to work with this. And the pattern is really easy. It's only repetition of 4 rows. So as soon as you have done it a few times, you will know it by heart, and you will. And it doesn't look like a zero mind relaxed knit, but in fact it really is a zero brain just relaxed knit. As soon as you have learned the repetition of the few rows of the pattern, 4 rows of the pattern. See you soon. Hopefully in the next section this design will be finished. Today is the last vlog section about the Flower Rain cardigan, because I'm almost finished with it and really happy with the result. So the pattern is also almost finished. It's right now with the tag editor. It's being graded and also tag edited. And after that I will start with the test knitting. I already have a few test knitters that are waiting for the pattern. I want to show you where I'm currently at with the Flower Rain cardigan. So there it is. I have done all the knitting is completely finished. So since last time what I have done is finish the front pieces and the back, which I have joined here with a 3 needle bind off at the shoulders after doing some shoulder shaping with short rows. And also I did a pretty neck finishing here. I think I will insert a photo so that you can have a close-up and see it better. Also what I have done obviously are the sleeves. So I have picked up sleeves here at the shoulders, all along, stitches all along here at the shoulders, and knitted the sleeves top down in stockinette stitch because I wanted the yarn to really be the main feature of the sleeves. And I finished the sleeves with some ribbing and an I-cord. So what is left now is, so I have washed and blocked it already because I wanted it to drape nicely before I start the sewing process. And maybe I can just throw it over like this. So there it is. And so I did the washing and blocking to ease a little bit the sewing. And I also finished the buttonholes. And what is left now to do is, as I said, the sewing first. And as a last step, I wanted to do the I-cord finishing or the I-cord bind off here on the bottom edge. And I wanted to do the sewing first so that I can open up all the live stitches. So I will do the sewing to the really edge here of the front as all the pieces, and then unravel the provisional cast on so that I have all the live stitches and I can do the I-cord all around in one step and on one ride. I don't know how to say. But I don't want to be sewing the I-cord, or grafting the I-cords between the pieces here, but I want to be able to do the I-cord all around without interruption between the different pieces of the cardigan. So that's why I left the I-cord edging for the end. And yeah, so that's the most important thing I wanted to say. So you can have a quick look at it. And also what I have done, what happened to me, what was really unfortunate, so is that the pattern got lost, because this is here the beautiful back piece. And unfortunately the pattern got lost in my computer with the backup that I did. I mean, I had some trouble there, and then the pattern got lost, almost everything I had written, and this was really annoying, so I had to rewrite it almost from scratch. It turned out the same basically, so but to be really sure that the more complicated parts are correct and have no mistakes, I didn't want to write it only from memory and by reading my knitting. I really wanted to make sure everything was perfect and flawless. So I decided to re-knit some of the more trickier parts of the garment. So I only knitted the tricky parts and left out the body, so to speak. And I used this opportunity to make some short video tutorials, some technical tutorials, where I only recorded my hands and where I explained what I'm doing and how I did, for example, the shaping at the shoulders with German short rows, or also the I-cord edging and the neck finishing here. So that is something I made tutorials for. So I did 6 tutorials in total that you can find in the same playlist where I will put also this vlog. So this might be helpful for you if you like the design and if you want to make it as well. You can refer to these short tutorials, technical tutorials, for you to make it easier and more enjoyable to make this cardigan. This was basically the last section of this vlog, as I mentioned in the before. And yeah, so thank you very much for following through. I really enjoyed documenting the whole process of designing
this designing and making this piece. And next, to wrap up this video, I would like to insert some either videos or pictures or both of me wearing the finished piece after sewing it and weaving in all ends and etc. So that you can also appreciate it finished and see how it looks when I'm wearing it, and maybe decide if you would like to make this design as well. Yeah, it was really fun to document this, and maybe also this video alongside with the tutorials, the more technical tutorials I made, hopefully can help you also walk you through or talk you through the making of a garment, knitting a garment, if you have never done it before, or if you are a less experienced knitter. So I hope that these videos are helpful for you and also just enjoyable and fun to watch. And also it was a good experience for me to see to document this whole process, and also go through the highs and lows of making a design, because this is really a lot of work. And one big low was, for example, losing the pattern and having to rewrite it almost from scratch. But I mean, that helped me also to make the tutorials later on, so there's always something good some benefits to accidents. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this process, and I hope that I will do it again. And I hope you enjoyed it as well, and see you soon. Bye bye.